Okay, so 30 days on the carnivore diet, and the results are incredible. But I'm going to make them credible because I've got proof. So let's talk about it. Okay, so finally I got tired of looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person that I'm looking at. I thought, oh man, you got to do something. You got to, lose some weight and, you got to get your act together. Okay, so after a lot of research, after a lifetime of being on the standard American diet, the SAD diet, I decided to go on the carnivore diet for 30 days. Let's give it 30 days. I mean, I can do anything for 30 days, and let's see what happens. And the results are pretty amazing. So I set myself a modest objective of losing 5 pounds and to improve my wind. But basically, September was the month of losing weight. That was the primary objective for September. But also, I had a doctor's appointment coming up in late September, on September 27. And I thought, well, okay, he's going to have me do some blood work anyway. So why don't I call him and ask him whether I can do my blood work now, which is the end of August. That way I can see where my blood stands, today. So I had my doctor's appointment the other day. I asked him whether he could put in an order for another blood test, and he agreed. So I took the blood test yesterday. So I've got book-ended blood tests. So I can show you exactly the before and after. If you don't mind, could you support the channel by hitting that like button for me? It doesn't cost you anything, and I'd really appreciate it. It really helps the channel. And maybe hit the subscribe button and the alert bell. So before I do the big reveal on the blood test, allow me to share my experience with you. For those of you who are thinking about going on the carnivore diet, let me give you the benefit of my experience. So let me be clear. So what I did for 1 month is all I ate was beef, butter, bacon, some cheese in my omelets, eggs, and that's about it. Okay, so what were some of the highlights of my journey? So on day 4, something happened. I had like no energy, like the bottom just fell out. I just, getting out of bed was an even harder chore than usual. And I just had absolutely no energy. And I remember on that daily podcast that I do with Rob Bruss, I shared that with Rob. I said, Rob, this diet is kicking my ass. Now, in my research, I happen to know that this phenomenon actually is not unusual. It is very common. If you go on the carnivore diet, chances are that within your first week there, your energy is going to crash, or at least diminish. In my case, I crashed. But apparently that's not uncommon. So effectively, what your body is doing is it's saying to itself, what the hell, Anderson? Where's all this crap that I'm used to? And the liver had to figure out, okay, well, what am I really supposed to be doing here? So the body is going through an adjustment, right? But it's a good kind of adjustment. In a very real way, that's actually a good sign. That means your body is recognizing what you're doing and it's kind of recalibrating. Okay, so that went on for a few days. Then things seem to get normal. Another thing I'll point out is, okay, so I had some diarrhea there a few times. Again, ironically, that's your body's way of kind of figuring things out. It's doing this last ditch effort of getting rid of the garbage in your system. And then your body gets to where it's supposed to be. It finds its proper self. And there were many days there when, I didn't, trust a fart, but okay, so that's the little price that you pay, a little bit of inconvenience there. So you might want to, for that little period, make a point of wearing dark colored pants or something. I'm sorry if I'm graphic, but I want to be honest. I want to give you the full experience that you could expect. But if you can just get through that little transition period, everything, gets better. You're going to lean in heavily on these guys. All right. So, stock up. They're really go-to. It's always good to have some boiled eggs in there so that, in a pinch, if it's time to eat, but you just don't feel like, cooking a steak or a hamburger or bacon, you have the eggs, you grab, there you go. It's an instant meal. Another thing you'll notice is that your appetite will go down a lot. Your temptation to snack is really not going to be there. Now, one of the core features of the carnivore diet is fat. Okay, so when you get your meat, you want to get the meat with the fat in it, okay, not the lean stuff. I'll tell you, this whole stuff we've been taught about our diet has been bullshit my entire life. It's been propaganda. You have to relearn, at least I had to relearn, the way you think about food, about what's good and what's bad. That old pyramid that we grew up with, that is tip it upside down. It's exactly wrong. Instead of carbs being at the bottom of the pyramid, it should be at the very tippy top. But as it turns out, fat is good for you. There's nutrition in there. And the side benefit of it is it's very satiating. Okay, so if you have some strips of bacon It's very satiating. Of course, it goes a long way. So not only does your body like the meat itself, but it also, reduces your appetites. It reduces your desire to snack. And so I found myself eating like 2 meals a day. Sometimes it's 1 meal a day. And there are times when I'd gone, for the whole day without eating outside of a small breakfast and thinking to myself, okay, come on, this can't be right, because I'm not hungry. So what I'll do is I'll eat a hard-boiled egg or two just to be on the safe side, just to make sure my body, has something. But I didn't really feel hungry. Now, when you're doing your own research on carnivore, you're going to find people telling you, look, you just eat what you want, right? There's no calorie counting. You eat when you're hungry and you don't eat when you're not hungry. So it's a very simple diet. And one little note here, if you think that it's expensive to go on the carnivore diet, net, it might be a little bit more expensive than usual, but just think about all the stuff that you're not buying at the store. You're not buying bread, you're not buying jam, you're not buying any cereal. Basically, you're just looking for protein and fat. One more tip I'll give you too is you're going to want to learn about electrolytes. Okay? Now, electrolytes is something that your body needs because your body basically runs on energy, and the salt and the potassium, they're what gives your body the ability to produce energy. So there was a period there where I found that my heart would like flutter a little bit. No, that's kind of weird. And I did the research on YouTube and stuff, and I found, well, that's because your body needs electrolytes. Don't go out and buy the electrolyte drinks. I mean, in a pinch, in a hurry, I guess you can, but apparently that's just a marketing gimmick. Those electrolyte drinks are crap. They are not really that good for you. Yeah, they have some electrolytes in it. They got a lot of other garbage in it, like sugar. But there are home recipes that you can do to create your own electrolyte drinks. I didn't really trust myself to get it exactly right. So what I ended up doing is I went online and I bought this electrolyte powder from Dr. Berg, Dr. Berg's electrolyte. This is a man that I trust. If you ever watch his videos, okay, for me, he's an authoritative figure, and he has his own electrolyte powder. So I don't have to think about getting the measurements right. It's just take a little scoop of this in a glass of water, mix it up, and so I'm good with electrolytes. So like I didn't do it every day, but like every other day, I would make a glass of electrolytes just to make sure that my body had all the electrolytes that it needed. So if you're going to go on the carnivore diet, make note of that. Do a search on YouTube for some YouTube videos about electrolytes on the carnivore diet. So aside from a few episodes of diarrhea and aside from a few other little things, the real challenge for me personally, it was my sweet tooth. Okay, because on YouTube, you're playing around on YouTube, watching little YouTube videos, and I'll sometimes come across these videos of these people eating like pancakes and donuts and chocolates. And for me, you sit and watch them, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness. Now, I did promise myself that at the end of my 30-day challenge, I would treat myself to a cheat day. Okay, so now for what you really want to hear about is the blood work. Okay, so I had my doctor's appointment on the 27th, 2 days ago. And I fully expected a lecture on the blood work because the last time that I was in for my annual physical, he was telling me that he really wanted me to go on statins to get my cholesterol down. I was really resistant to the idea. I don't like the idea of going on medication. But my ego does not want me to be one of those old people with a box full of prescription drugs that I have to take all the time. I don't want to be one of those people. So I did not want to go on the statin. I was very resistant to it because the cholesterol number was still high. There was no improvement since my last annual visit in my cholesterol. And by the way, there is a little debate in the carnivore community about whether, cholesterol even matters. Now, we know that the body actually does need cholesterol. So cholesterol is not bad in and of itself. And then there's a few versions of cholesterol, right? The bad one is the LDL cholesterol. That's the one that the doctors and everyone really focus on. That's the one you want to keep under a certain level. So he did a good job scaring the hell out of me about my heart attack risks if I didn't get that cholesterol down. So he gave me a compromise. He said, all right, well, listen, why don't you go on the statins for 3 months, and then we'll do a blood test again and see how it goes. It was his way of trying to, ease me into the idea because he saw that I was a tough customer. He saw that I was a tough customer about going on these pills. So I gave him a counter proposal. I said, listen, I've been on this carnivore diet for 30 days, and I'm wondering whether it helped my blood at all. So would you mind, why don't you schedule 2 blood tests, one for 3 months out, to check out your statins, and the other one for right now, because I want to see what happened to my blood work after 30 days on the carnivore. And he agreed. So yesterday I went in and had that second blood test done. So there you have it. I have two blood tests, one at the very, very beginning of the carnivore diet and one at the 30-day mark. It's actually the 28th day, but close enough. And let me show you the results. Let's start with the triglycerides. Okay, now this is graphed out, right, over months. Now you see these last two, they're really close together because they're only 1 month apart, right? Okay, you can see here, the normal range is less than or equal to 149. Okay, the beginning of the month is 133, and the other one is 113. So I was okay with my triglycerides anyway. How about the HDL? Okay, so the optimum range is greater to or equal to 40. I started out at 40, and it came in at 38. So I guess this one is supposed to be over 40, so I'm hugging the line. Now let's go down here to the cholesterol HDL level. Look at that drop. Okay, so my ratio went from 6.2 down to 4.9 in 1 month. I mean, and just look at the picture of that graph. Look what I was doing, and then in 1 month, boom. So this is my non-HDL cholesterol. Normal range is less than or equal to 159. I started at 207. Okay, so I was significantly out of range. But then the new number is 148. So I went from being way out of range to being very nicely in range. Remember, the optimum number is less than or equal to 159, and I'm right now at 148. Wow. Okay, so let's go to the top here and look at my cholesterol in general. Wow, look at that drop. I am now in range. Okay, see, optimal range is 0 to 199. I was at 247. And now I'm at 186. I am now pretty comfortably in range. I mean, look at this. This is a 1 month difference. And now for the big one, the LDL calc. Look at this. Look at this. So you can see why my doctor was saying, what the hell, Anderson? We got to get you on these freaking statins. Why aren't you listening to me? So this is what was kind of like pissing him off. So you can see that my LDL has been stubbornly high, for years. This goes back to 1999, okay? So my cholesterol has always been, above the range. And it's been doing nothing but going up for the past 24 years. But then look what happened in 1 month. So I started the month at 180. Okay, so the optimal range is below 130. And I started the month at 180. So I was 50 points above the normal range. But now today, I'm at 125. I did it. I got below that 130 number. I'm at 125. That's the LDL, okay? I mean, let's just look at the chart. For the past 24 years, I've been above the optimal range for LDL. I've had high LDL. But then in 1 month, I went from 180 to 125. So listen, I'm not a doctor and I'm not a professional dietitian, but listen, food for thought, right? If your doctor is trying to push you onto statin drugs, or if you're already on statin drugs, you might want to, look hard into this carnivore diet as an alternative to being on prescription drugs, at least in the case of statins. Anyway, so as part of the agreement, the doctor did order me my statins. So I have these statins here. I think I'm going to have to shoot him an email or call him and ask him, hey, man, take another look at my results. Do you still want me to go on statins? I'm hoping he'll say no and no need. I mean, listen, honest God, I wish I'd learned about this carnivore stuff, 24 years ago. The crap that we've been taught about our diet is all wrong. You have to rethink food. I was brought up thinking that eggs were bad for you. Bacon was bad for you. Steaks were bad for you. Red meat is bad for you. But I've lost 14 pounds and my cholesterol has cratered. Maybe we can all take a lesson from Ron Swanson.
What are you eating?
I call this Turf and Turf. It's a 16-ounce T-bone and a 24-ounce porterhouse.
Your blood pressure looks fine. I'm not sure how this is possible, but your cholesterol is 120, which is the lowest I've ever seen.
What's cholesterol?
So there you have it. In the comment section below, let me know what you think about all this. So I want to give a shout out to a few people that helped me out along the way here for the carnivore diet. Dave Richards, Latoy, and Rob Bruss. These guys have all given me fantastic advice on how to handle this carnivore diet. These people are much more experienced in this kind of diet, and they give me some great ideas along the way. And even though during the month, sometimes it was boring, I looked at that the hamburger on my plate, and I just thought, I can't eat any more of this. Even though even though I had those moments, I didn't really make that much of an effort to really learn some of the really cool dishes that are in the carnivore diet. So it can be a delicious diet to be on. Just learn how to make these carnivore-centric dishes. Please hit that like button and the subscribe button and the alert button. Ed Anderson, live from Minnesota, signing out.
Copy that.